December 13th, Saturday night main event predictions for you guys. I got some bangers. Here are the matches on the card. And of course, first thing I want to talk about is exactly my order of the matches. I'm going to start off, it's going to be Rhodes versus Femi. And then we got to go Bailey versus Soul. The tag team match with AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, AJ Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater. And then we're going to end the night off with John v. Gunther. And I think that's probably the card that makes the most sense, at least tonight. Star power, probably less of a draw. Going to be a banger match, but less star power than the opener. And then an absolute banger and star power match, with it being John's last. I want to start this off with just a wish list of matches that I wanted to happen after I cover the Rhodes versus Femi. Nightmare versus Rula. It's going to be a DQ due to Drew. In my opinion, I think that's the way it goes. They're going to keep on pushing this Drew and Cody Rhodes storyline a little bit farther. Hopefully, again, I say this every time, but hopefully this turns into a back and forth between Drew and Cody, and maybe we'll get a belt drop to a belt drop. Who knows? There's also a chance with this past Tuesday with Ricky Starks' heel turn that maybe we see him jump in there to do the DQ on Oba instead, but I'm not 100% certain there. I personally wish we could have gotten another female match on the card. I would have loved a Chelsea Green US Open challenge and have JC Jane or Tatum Paxley answer it, or Jordan Grace, one of these awesome wrestlers in NXT that just need their showcase on a bigger platform for more people to see and maybe start watching NXT more. I would have loved a tag team match between Fatal Influence and the Best Friends. Charlotte and Alexa would have helped elevate some tag team. Fatal Influence would be, in my opinion, probably the best tag team to do it with. I mean, they are stable, but still. Nonetheless, I would have loved a US Open challenge in some way. I mean, whether it was Chelsea Greens, or I would have loved an Ilya Dragunov match tonight. Just swap the Friday night US Open challenge with Ciampa over to Saturday night. Amazing. Amazing. I would have loved every second of it. I wish we could have gotten one of these older guys that was a great rival to John. Rusev, which not the best out of these three, but still. Miz, Sheamus versus Trick Williams, Ricky Saints. I would have loved to see Tony D actually come to the main roster on Saturdays. And would have loved to see Tony D come to the main event scene, and I would have loved to see Tony D come to the main roster with this Saturday main event instead of doing whatever he just did on Tuesday's night with Ethan Page. Personally, I want to see him be built up more and hopefully come back with a slightly different character. Going more into the card, though, like I said, next we would have Bailey versus Soul, which I don't foresee with how tonight is going to go, that we have Bailey winning it. I think they're going to use this as a catalyst for her new persona as well, with the mixed personalities. I think her losing to Soul is going to help extradite that entire mannerism. At least that's my hope, and because they kind of wiped this storyline away without too much notice the past couple weeks, I feel. And maybe I just haven't picked up on the subtler notes that they've been putting out there for it. Third, we're going to have an absolute banger of a match. It's going to be insane, with the young OG and Leon Slater taking the loss from AJ Lee, because I don't understand, in one sense, why it would make sense to have the Raw Tag Team Champions pinned by an NXT superstar, but also a TNA contracted wrestler. And I don't foresee it being a huge issue, but knowing with what we've seen, I don't foresee them taking the Raw champs and having them take a loss against these two amazing young generation superstars, but still have a lot of learning to do. And not just that, but they're building up the Raw tag team for something crazy based on what I'm seeing, and trying to build a bigger storyline there. Why have them lose? On a side note, look at this image and tell me that Dragon Lee's face in the match card image is not absolute nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel, dude. And finally, I have John versus Gunther, which do I think it's going to be never give up, finally gives up, and we get a tap out from John? No, I don't think that's the case. I don't foresee that being the answer that WWE gives us. I think that's going to be a huge factor in this match, though. And it's going to be a constant, is he going to tap? Is he going to give up? Until we get to the point where Gunther finally is fed up with it and either one, messes himself up and loses the match because he just gets too hot-headed, or two, we're going to see Gunther then just start finishing and finishing and finishing his normal, save up all three finishers and pile them all at once and go for the pin because he wants the win more than he wants to make Cena tap out. And it also builds that kind of sense to Gunther that he's not as perfect as he says he is. He tapped out at WrestleMania. He couldn't tap John Cena out. What is Gunther? I don't know exactly, in my opinion. Either way, just from interviews, everything we know about John Cena, from what he's told us, what everybody else has told us, John Cena is not going out winning. He is going to be looking at the lights, whether he's tapping out or it's a count of 1, 2, 3. That's going to be the way it goes. Let me know in the comments what you think about my predictions here. If there's any other options that you think. Do you think some of these ideas make a lot of sense? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Have a nice one. I look forward to seeing what tonight actually brings in Cena's last match.